Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Trade Deadline Emergency Edition. I am Bill Matz. Joining me today, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, here in the Xfinity mobile studio. And today's Trade Deadline Emergency show is brought to you by our friends at Xfinity. Charlie, something happened.
It did.
Our long national nightmare is over. Danny Briere will not make zero moves today. That is at least guaranteed now that Bobby Brink has been traded to his hometown team, the Minnesota Wild, for former 6th overall pick defenseman David Jiricek. Kind of a pretty cool move to get things started today.
Yeah, it's an intriguing move, to be sure. It's definitely I think the best way I can describe it is the kind of move that a team that knows they're not ready to compete right now makes. Because what you're doing in this deal is this is a downgrade in the here and now for the Philadelphia Flyers. Bobby Brink is already a perfectly solid NHL winger. He's a 40-point guy. He's not a liability defensively. He's turned himself into a good skater. Like, he is a quality NHLer who you can plug into any lineup in the NHL and he can be a good player. He is like 2.5 to 3 years older than Jiricek. Jiricek is a bit more of a reclamation project. However, he plays a position of greater need for the Flyers. Defenseman is #1, a more important position. Right-hand defenseman is a very important position because that's very scarce. #2, the upside's there, but you're going to have to pull it out of him.
Yes.
Jiricek has been disappointing thus far in his post-draft career. He has not lived up to being the 6th overall pick, but there is a talented player in there. So what you do is you take the short-term hit for what you're hoping for is the long-term gain of what you can turn David Jiricek into. It's an intriguing deal. I'm not going to go so far as to say that I am in love with the deal, because there's a lot of worlds where it doesn't work.
Sure.
There's a lot of worlds where David Jiricek just stinks and he's nothing more than a decent enough bottom pair defenseman. But it is a move that you make when you look at your roster and you say, we're not good enough now. How do we 2-3 years down the road get to the point where we are good enough? This is the kind of move you make.
No, I really, this isn't, oh my God, I can't believe we fleeced Bill Guerin. This is a move that intrigues me, like you said, because one, I feel like we got the quote a couple days ago that was, we're not going to get any younger. And this is one of those moves that's, Bobby Brink turns 25, the first week of July. He's a prime-aged player, and you are trading now for a 22-year-old defenseman who is now going to be on his 3rd team, has spent most of his time as a pro in the AHL, especially lately. I'm really happy that Danny Briere made this kind of move. I think it bodes well for, we were saying a lot on post-game last night. I just hope he's not, deluded into thinking all right, but this is our core. We're good to go. You need to make room for better players, and this is a great way to do it. Whether this allows Matvei Michkov to play on the right side, I doubt it, but we'll see. Whether it allows for a Brink call-up, whether it allows for Porter Martone to join a bump call-up. Yes, Brink is who we just traded. Whether it allows for Porter Martone to join the team whenever Michigan State season is over, whatever it is, okay. We got a player with some potential, 6th overall in 2022, 6'4" right-handed defenseman, taking 1 pick after Cutter Gauthier. So here you go. Here's another top 10 pick for you, for all the people who say we're not stockpiling enough talent. It's a guy who went high in the draft. It could really pay off, or it could be like you said. All right, well, we cleared out one of our wingers, which is something that had to happen.
Yeah, and it's worth remembering too. I'm not saying that Jiricek has been good this past year, because he hasn't. But last season, the Minnesota Wild traded for David Jiricek. So this was in November 30th, 2024.
2024,
the first half of last season. So this is last season. And in that trade, he brought back a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 3rd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick. So that should speak to just how highly he was valued just a year ago. Now, Doesn't mean that he's going to pan out, but it does speak to the degree of upside that people thought he had as recently as a year and 3 months ago.
How did you feel about Jiricek? Because he goes right in that area where the Flyers were drafting. Obviously, they take Cutter at 5. Jiricek goes 6th. His name seems very familiar to me from preparing for those drafts, but damn, I can't remember what we actually said about him. How do you, what was your opinion of Jiricek then, and what's your opinion of him, like, at current state?
Yeah, I mean, I liked him a lot in his draft year. It's one of those, like, freezing cold takes revisited or whatever, but I wanted them to take Jiricek over Cutter Gauthier. Now,
that's right. Yes.
It certainly looks like Cutter Gauthier is going to be a better player than David Jiricek, but Jiricek had a lot going for him. The big weakness with Jiricek, and if he doesn't pan out, this is why he will be a bust or a third pair defenseman or whatever, is the skating. He's always had heavy feet. That was always the concern. And now he's 22. So now the fear is like, when you draft a guy and he's 18, you think, well, maybe he'll get quicker. Is he going to get quicker now that it's, he was drafted in the 2022 draft? We're coming up on 4 years since his draft. How much more runway does he have to get faster? It's a good question, and that is a legitimate concern. But there's a lot of other things I like about him. I love the physical tools. I really like the physical tools. I think I remember, and it's been a while since I've really watched him closely. I remember in 2022 thinking pretty highly of the hockey sense. My guess is that if he hasn't panned out, maybe that is something that people think less of now. I'll be intrigued to watch him up close now. But one thing that no one questions is the quality of his shot. He's got an absolute bomb from the point. He can fire it. And I can tell you, I had conversations with people in the organization dating back to the beginning of this season, asking about, like, what do you need to do to fix the power play? And for my opinion, one of the big things they need to do to fix the power play is get a net front guy. And I think they got that. Like, not that they have that, but I think they understand that. They drafted Vansaki, they drafted Nesbitt, they drafted Martone. Like, they know they need that. But one thing that always came up when I talked to people in the organization about what they needed to fix the power play is we don't have anybody that threatens you from up top. We don't have anybody that takes pressure off the guys from the flanks that can really bomb it and makes you have to keep a couple people in the middle to be potentially there to block a shot and prevent that lane. They've been trying to teach Jamie Drysdale to use his mobility to find lanes. But David Jiricek brings the ability to just overpower goalies with a shot. I would not be surprised if that was a big reason behind this, because I know that was something they wanted to address.
No, and we did that show a few weeks ago, just breaking down how poor Flyers point men on the power play have been in recent years. And, like, yeah, they need a lot of things. They need a guy in the bumper. They need a guy in front of the net. But that man up top opens up other lanes for everybody else. And perhaps that could be David Jiricek. Here, the Flyers have acquired from the Minnesota Wild for one Bobby Brink, who goes home and gets to join one of the 3 best teams in the West, maybe one of the 3 best teams in the league, as they are now going for it pretty clearly, Charlie. We have over 500 people watching right now. If you haven't already, hit that freaking like button and make sure you're subscribed right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We are going live from 2 to 4 p.m. today with our trade deadline special, but this trade happened early enough that we were like, why not give the people what they want? And that's more us talking here about our beloved Philadelphia Flyers. And I'm just happy they made a move. This is one of those intriguing ones. Like we said, there's a lot of potential here. And if nothing else, it opens up a wing spot. We know that that's what they're looking to do, so they can create room for all the wingers that they do have or do want to get a look at. Is there anything else with this one, Charlie, that stands out to you?
Yeah, we'll talk a lot more about this on the show. Yeah. It does kind of give you your future right side of the defense. I would say, you've got obviously Jamie Drysdale, and he's still young. He is only, I believe he was taken in the, he was the 2020 or was he the 2021 draft?
I think 2021.
Okay. So Jiricek's taken in 2022. He's another right-handed shooting defenseman. Then you've got Oliver Bonk taken in the 2023 draft. Those are 3 first-round pick right-handed shooting defensemen under the age of 25. That is an interesting, I wouldn't say it is a, like, core, because I don't know if any of those guys are going to be elite by any means, but it is a nice foundation upon which to build the rest of your defense, having 3 young, talented first-round pick guys with pedigree that play the right side that are defensemen. That's intriguing to me.
Yeah, Drysdale was 6th overall in 2020. So it's 2020,
Okay.
2023, and 2022,
2023, and 2020.
That's the Michkov Bonk was 23, right? Okay. Anyway, I think that'll just about do it. Make sure you tune in here. I do want to just the Bobby Brink side of this before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Talk a little about Bobby. I hope Bobby does well in Minnesota. I really like Bobby Brink. Good kid, worked really, really hard to improve his skating, turned himself into a really solid player, and now he gets to compete for a Stanley Cup with the Minnesota Wild. The Flyers obviously are not there yet. That's abundantly clear. So while I like Bobby Brink, I'm happy for him that he's getting to go home and getting to play for a contender and can leave this muddled middle and actually have a chance to win something for the next couple of years.
Yeah, Brink turns 25 July 8th. He's got 13 goals, 13 assists, and 55 games. Overall, 201 games with the Philadelphia Flyers. He registered 94 points, put up that career high 41 and 79. He's a good third-line player. It does kind of feel like we've reached the end of, all right, is that offense ever going to break out? Could it be more than a third-line player? Could it be a power play one guy? Could it be a second-line guy? It kind of feels like we know what he is. It's a half a point a game player. He does more noticeable stuff than that, but it does kind of feel like at the end you're going to go, yeah, 15 goals, 40 points. That's about what he is. And I like that they attempted to upgrade a position of need using a player like this. And hey, second round pick that you turned into a guy who can give you 15 minutes in the NHL every night. That's a pretty good return. All right, I think that will just about do it. Make sure you tune in at 2 o'clock for our trade deadline show today. We will be live 2 to 4, so an hour before and an hour after the deadline expires. Follow us on @PHLY Flyers on Twitter and follow the podcast wherever you get those as well. Until later, I am Bill. That is Charlie. Thank you to Briere. Be excellent to each other.